What's up YouTube? This is No More Op4 here finally to present to you my Bivouac gear loadout series. It's been a long time coming, but I'm finally rolling it out for you. Basically what this series is going to be is a comprehensive look at the gear that I take with me anytime I go out on a bivouac camping trip. What I did was I took an objective look at my systems, and I'm going to share with you some of the efficiencies and inefficiencies that I found within my system to hopefully allow you to improve upon yours so you can get out and enjoy the outdoors. In my opinion, bivouac camping is one of the most rewarding things you can do outdoors, which is why I'm putting this series out for you. Took a long time for me to organize this in a comprehensible fashion so that it would be as easy as possible to present. I had to think a lot about what to include and what not to include. What I've done is I've organized this series into 5 parts. This part is going to be an introduction for the simple fact that there's so much to cover. I just have to go over my operating assumptions. So as we're going through some of these points, you're not asking questions that I've already covered. Basically is the reason I've chose to do an introduction piece. So I know some of you may complain about that. Oh, he's got a video just on an introduction. Well, the little X is up here in the corner. You just click that and you can go watch a video somewhere else. So the other different sections, part 2 is going to be on shelter and sleeping gear. Part 3 is going to be on clothing. Part 4 is going to be on water, food, and cookware. And then part 5 will be basically just all the other tools and miscellaneous equipment that I bring with me on these trips. So it was my original intent actually to do a winter gear loadout series. It was requested by a few of my friends and a couple of my subscribers, so I sat down to take an objective look, and basically what I realized is there's not a lot of difference between my system in the winter and my system in the warmer months, other than some preferences with shelter and obviously the type of clothing that I'm going to bring. So what I'm going to do for clothing, I'm going to do a subsection. Basically A will be the winter months and then B will be the warmer months. Since it's winter right now, I'm going to cover that section first. And then for the other areas, in particularly shelter, what I'm going to do for that is I'll just cover that in one section. It will be just one part, and I'll cover a broader sense of all the shelter preferences that I have. So because of the amount of ground I'm going to cover in this series, I decided to come up with some points for you to keep in mind as I'm going through this. So hopefully these points will minimize the amount of repetitive questions that I'm going to get, and also hopefully minimize the amount of trolling. But point 1 is actually just what the definition of bivouac or to bivouac means. Bivouacking is just a temporary encampment in an unsheltered area. So anytime you go out in the woods and you're setting up your own shelter, be it a tent or some sort of improvised shelter or a tarp shelter, hammock, whatever it is your preferences are, that's what bivouac means. That term, in my opinion, just most closely defines the type of system that I use. So this series will be the gear that I bring on those type of trips. Point 2, again, this is bivouacking. This isn't going to a cookie cutter campground for a weekend, living out of your minivan with running water and electricity. The only things that I have with me are what I bring out and carry in my pack, what I build once I get out there, or what I find when I'm out there. That's it. Point 3 is I just want to clarify that not all of the gear that I'm going to show you comes out with me on every trip. I don't have a pack mule that can carry all this for me, and I'm sure as hell not carrying all this stuff out with me every time. People that are into, bushcraft or survival, more of that aspect of the outdoors, know and will probably comment that you can get away with taking a lot less than what I'm showing, and I agree with that. I want you to keep in mind also on the same note that a lot of the gear I'm showing is the 3rd or 4th generation of an item that I use for a specific application. So for example, if you see that I'm using a survival knife as opposed to an axe, you know, it's just because for whatever reason I've decided that this is what suits my needs best. So just keep that in mind as well. Point 4. On every one of these trips that I go on, I have what's called my base kit, which is things like my first aid kit, right here, or my fire kit. And these are basically just items that no matter what I'm doing, the length of my stay, the purpose of my stay, these are items that always come with me. Beyond that, I classify the items that I bring as either invariable, such as tools and equipment where the weight does not change throughout the length of the trip. And then there's consumables, such as water and food. The weight will increase or decrease as those are consumed or as I collect more of them. So the reason I bring that up is I just think it's important to consider your weight whenever you're planning one of these types of trips. And I'm going to be rolling out some future videos on these topics. 5. This is an always changing and always evolving system. This is never there is no such thing as a perfect kit or a perfect list of gear that you're going to bring with you. If yours is different, that doesn't mean it's wrong. Some people may use, a water filter for purifying their water. I boil my water. Neither are wrong, both have advantages and disadvantages. That's just the way I choose to do it. The end. Point 6. This isn't a shit hits the fan, fantasy type scenario, nor is escape or evasion for any reason relevant to what I'm doing here. That being said, a lot of my technique preferences do coincide with camouflage and concealment discipline, which is basically just a more advanced version of the leave no trace mentality. I just practice those because that's the way that I learned some of these techniques, and I just think light and noise discipline are important things to practice. So take that for what it is, nothing else. Point 7, last but not least, if you haven't figured it out already or you're new to my channel, I'm not one of those hippie backpacker types, for lack of a better term. The only carbon footprint I'm concerned about is getting the barrel of my AR clean, and the closest thing to granola as a regular food source in my diet is the grain that my whiskey is fermented from. That being said, I don't condone trashing the woods. If you take something out with you, take it back. We have such a limited amount of space that we can enjoy the outdoors anymore with the way that, with the direction that our country's going. So take advantage of it. Make sure it's there for our children and their children. Now hopefully those bullet points will keep things in perspective as we move along. There's just 2 final things I'd like for you to keep in mind as we move through. 1, please feel free to flame on any of the tools that comment about the shit I just covered. And 2, if you see an item or a particular piece of gear that you would like me to review, even if it's more than one, please comment throughout the video series. Let me know what those items are. That's the whole reason I have a channel. Last but not least, a cautionary forewarning to everyone that's watching this. I'm going to quote Robert Louis Stevenson. "I travel not to go anywhere, but to go. I travel for travel's sake. The great affair is to move." End quote. Now this is used in a slightly different context, but I think it's 100% applicable to us today. There's an increasing amount of catering towards all of us gear junkies, be it through TV shows or forums or YouTube channels. And I admit, I'm not above it. I'm even guilty of it. No doubt this video series will probably even prompt some people to go out and buy a piece of gear that they see to further their own kit. And that's fine, The point I want to get across is that you don't need to go out and buy every gizmo and gadget that comes out on the market just because some guy said it was totally cool, bro. The amount of something that you own in no way equates to the amount of skill you possess in any facet of life, really, but maybe none more so than outdoor skills. Our gear should facilitate an improved state of existence in the outdoors. It should not define it. So just keep in mind, we don't buy a new tarp because it's cool. We go out to enjoy it, sleep under it, enjoy the night sky and waking up to the morning sun. We don't buy a fly rod just because it makes us look cool. We buy a fly rod to go out and enjoy the natural beauty of a stream or a lake. So just keep that in mind as we move forward. Because our great affair is not the gear that we bring. Rather, it should be enjoying the places that we bring it to. Thanks for watching, guys. This is No More Op 4. As always, stay safe. I'm out.